What's up, everybody? Welcome back to What They Teach You in High School. Hey, today we're taking a look at the court systems. And if you remember one thing about the court systems, it's that they're like onions. They have a lot of layers. Man, I hope you get that reference. Anyway, welcome back to What They Teach You in High School. Hey, so today we're taking a look at the court system. We're going to start by taking a look at the two different types of legal systems there are in this country. Then we're going to look at some of the people who you might interact with if you find yourself in some legal trouble. And then we're looking at jurisdictions. Let's get into it. So there's two different types of legal systems in our country. You have criminal law and you have civil law. Criminal law is a legal measure passed by a legislative body that establishes what you can and can't do in this country, as well as the punishments for if you're found to have broken the law. Alternatively, there's also civil law. Civil law is the legal measures that govern conflicts between two private individuals. That's you and me, but please don't sue me and I won't sue you. How about that? That's a fair trade. And depending on which legal system we're looking at, we have some different terminology that we need to address. The first thing being the burden of proof. If you find yourself in a criminal case, the burden of proof that needs to be found against somebody who's accused of wrongdoing is what's called beyond a reasonable doubt. There needs to be absolutely no question that this person committed a crime, because oftentimes the punishment for a criminal case is going to be significant fines or jail time. Alternatively, if you find yourself in a civil lawsuit, the burden of proof against the person accused of wrongdoing is a preponderance of evidence. Go ahead and say that one with me. Preponderance of evidence. A preponderance of evidence simply means that it needs to be more likely than not that the person accused of a crime actually committed the wrongdoing. Reason being is oftentimes these are disputes between two people, and the consequence is often a monetary compensation. Additionally, when we're taking a look at the criminal law system, we have some different terms that we need to use in regards to who's sitting in what chair. So if you're in a criminal case, you're going to have the prosecution versus the defendant. The prosecution or prosecutor is the federal government or the state government or the county government that's trying the defendant, the person who's been accused of wrongdoing. Alternatively, if you're in a civil case, a plaintiff is going to have brought the case against the same term, a defendant who has been accused of wrongdoing. Some additional people in the courtroom that you might see are going to be witnesses. Those are the people that show up to make statements on behalf or against the defendant who might or might not have been guilty of committing the crime. Additionally, in most criminal cases and some civil cases, we have a jury. The jury is going to be responsible for determining whether the defendant is actually guilty of committing the crime. You might think that's the judge's job, but really the judge is more like the referee, making sure that the lawyers for both the plaintiff or the prosecutor and the defendant are following the rules and making sure that the jury knows exactly what legal question they need to be answering. And here's your quick non-multiple choice trivia question for the day. How many people are on a common jury in our country? Hey, if you said 12, you're correct. The final thing we're going to take a look at today is what's called jurisdiction. Remember, our judicial system is like an onion. It has layers. And we have multiple layers of the judicial system that can examine different angles of a court case. The first is the trial court. The trial court is where the facts of a case are heard and a defendant is determined whether to be innocent or guilty. The next layer in the court system is what we call the appellate system. And the Court of Appeals, or the appellate system, is not actually looking at the facts of the case. Did this person commit the crime or not? They leave that up to the jury and they trust that the jury did their job. An appellate court is looking specifically to see if the court case was carried out properly. Some of the things that they're examining are to make sure that all of the facts that were brought to the case were found legally. Additionally, they're making sure that the judge, aka the referee, like we determined just a minute ago, managed the court case properly and answered the proper legal questions. Hey folks, that's what we've got for today. Next time, we're going to take a look at the two different types of court systems we have in our country as it relates to state courts and federal courts. We're also going to be taking a look at the Mac Daddy court system of all the Supreme Court of the United States. Hey, as always, thanks so much for watching What They Teach You in High School. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that little bell button so you know I'm coming next time. Make sure you're sharing these with your friends, with your family, and most importantly, share this one with your high school social studies teacher. Hey, if you haven't already, take a look at the shorts on my channel because you can learn a little bit about each of the Supreme Court justices that currently sits on the Supreme Court of the United States bench. Thanks again for watching What They Teach You in High School. We'll see you next time, kiddos. Peace.